High above the valley, carved into unforgiving stone, stands a fortress so strategically placed that for centuries no army could take it by force. Generals studied it, kings surrounded it, and rival empires tried everything, yet this structure remained untouched, a monument to engineering that defied conventional warfare. Its walls were not simply tall, they were constructed with interlocking stone blocks so precise that even centuries of earthquakes failed to weaken them. But height alone does not make a fortress invincible. The real secret lay hidden within a design few invaders ever understood. The approach itself was engineered as a weapon, forcing attackers through narrow, winding paths that exposed them long before they reached the gates. And when they finally reached the entrance, they faced doors reinforced with layered hardwood and metal, designed to withstand prolonged assault. Above the gate, concealed chambers allowed defenders to strike from angles attackers could neither see nor anticipate. From elevated platforms, defenders could release projectiles, stones, and other deterrents with devastating precision against forces below. Even more impressive, the fortress could survive without outside supply for months, sometimes years, thanks to internal wells and carefully planned storage systems. To conquer such a structure required more than numbers. It required understanding the engineering philosophy that made it nearly untouchable. Before a single stone was placed, engineers studied the terrain itself, choosing locations where nature already provided an almost insurmountable advantage. Instead of building upon loose soil, they carved directly into bedrock, anchoring the fortress to the mountain in a way that prevented collapse or undermining. Each block was shaped to interlock with the next, distributing stress evenly and resisting both siege pressure and natural seismic activity. The walls were not solid masses alone. Many contained layered reinforcement systems that absorbed impact rather than simply resisting it. In several areas, walls were deliberately angled outward, making it nearly impossible for attackers to position ladders securely against them. Towers were placed at precise intervals, allowing defenders to monitor every approach route without leaving blind spots. Entry paths were never straight. Attackers were forced into zigzag corridors that slowed movement and exposed flanks repeatedly. Even if the first gate fell, a second barrier waited behind it, creating deadly choke points between confined stone walls. Within the walls themselves, protected walkways allowed defenders to move quickly without being exposed to enemy fire. What appeared from below as simple stone was in reality a carefully calculated defensive system engineered for endurance and control. Long before a battle began, the fortress itself delivered a message. Its towering scale projected dominance and confidence. From the perspective of approaching soldiers, the walls seemed impossibly tall, reducing morale even before the first arrow was released. The entrance forced attackers into narrow passages where movement slowed and coordination broke down under mounting pressure. Meanwhile, defenders maintained full visibility from above, controlling every angle of engagement with superior positioning. Even if attackers breached the first perimeter, they faced additional defensive rings that multiplied resistance at every stage. Observation towers provided early warning systems, allowing defenders to prepare long before hostile forces reached the gates. Gates were reinforced with layered timber and metal supports designed to withstand prolonged impact from siege equipment. Behind primary defenses, secondary barriers ensured that a single breach would never determine the outcome of the siege. As pressure mounted, attackers faced not only physical obstacles, but psychological exhaustion from repeated failed advances. Inside the walls, controlled organization and superior design maintained stability, even as chaos unfolded beyond the perimeter. The fortress was not merely constructed on land, it was integrated into bedrock, turning nature itself into reinforcement. Each stone block was cut with precision, locking into neighboring stones to distribute pressure evenly across the entire structure. The walls were not hollow shells. Multiple internal layers absorbed impact and prevented structural collapse during siege pressure. Elevated walkways ensured rapid troop movement across the perimeter, allowing defenders to reinforce threatened sections quickly. Provisions were stored deep within interior chambers, ensuring the fortress could survive prolonged isolation without outside support. A protected internal well eliminated reliance on external water sources, securing survival during extended siege conditions. Arrow slits maximized defender visibility while minimizing exposure, granting tactical advantage during ranged engagement. Internal locking systems added redundancy, ensuring outer breaches could not easily compromise inner sanctuaries. Terrain elevation provided natural surveillance and defensive superiority, reducing vulnerability from surrounding approaches. Strategic foresight transformed architecture into a weapon, proving that design itself could determine the outcome of conflict. What attackers believed to be structural weakness was often deliberate, a carefully engineered illusion meant to invite direct assault. The damaged facade concealed an inner reinforcement layer designed to withstand concentrated force without visible vulnerability. Scouts interpreted surface cracks as opportunity, unaware that their assessment was precisely what defenders intended. Behind the weakened exterior lay a narrowing corridor engineered to compress advancing forces into confined space. As attackers moved deeper, spatial restriction eliminated formation advantages and reduced maneuverability. Elevated defensive platforms allowed controlled engagement from above, maximizing leverage with minimal exposure. The corridor system redistributed attacking momentum into predictable patterns, converting force into manageable segments. Compressed formations prevented coordinated response, reducing communication clarity and defensive adaptability. From concealed vantage points, commanders controlled engagement timing with measured signals and disciplined coordination. What appeared fragile from outside concealed deliberate strength within, demonstrating that perception itself was weaponized architecture. While attackers believed momentum favored them, defenders repositioned methodically behind reinforced secondary barriers designed for controlled containment. Secondary gates were engineered with sliding stone channels and iron reinforcement to withstand concentrated force without immediate failure. Staggered formations inside restricted chambers ensured layered resistance, preventing attackers from advancing beyond limited depth. Outside the walls, commanders struggled to interpret the sudden disruption, unable to visualize the engineered containment unfolding within. As forward pressure increased, structural narrowing converted collective force into internal congestion, limiting coordinated advance. Internal sliding barriers reduced escape options, further segmenting attackers into isolated clusters within confined geometry. Segmented containment zones allowed defenders to manage pressure points independently without overextending resources. Training emphasized controlled breathing and disciplined posture, preventing panic within confined confrontation spaces. Attempts to reinforce the breach increased compression rather than advantage, amplifying structural constraint within the funnel system. The illusion of weakness functioned as strategic bait, converting aggressive confidence into predictable structural vulnerability. Once initial containment succeeded, defenders shifted positions with deliberate precision, maintaining structural advantage inside the fortified corridor. Hidden grooves carved directly into the stone floor allowed barriers to move quickly without external hinges or exposed mechanisms. Silent hand signals replaced shouted commands, preventing confusion within acoustically confined stone architecture. Outside the breach, hesitation replaced confidence as advancing troops sensed structural disadvantage without understanding its design.
The architectural contrast between open field formation and restricted interior space created unavoidable compression dynamics. Secondary latch systems ensured that containment remained stable even under repeated external pressure. Layered defensive checkpoints prevented collapse of control, distributing effort across multiple containment nodes. Conflicting tactical interpretations delayed coordinated response, increasing operational instability outside the walls. As pressure subsided, defenders retained positional integrity, demonstrating the corridor's controlled effectiveness. Beyond the deceptive breach, the fortified city remained structurally intact and strategically secure. Long before armies gathered at the walls, engineers studied measurements carefully, calculating corridor width, defensive layers, and human movement patterns with disciplined precision. Each corridor angle was designed intentionally, ensuring attackers would compress into confined space while defenders maintained maneuverability and structural advantage. Construction teams carved interior passages with deliberate measurements, understanding that structural geometry could determine the fate of entire armies. The corridor's restricted width ensured no formation could expand, forcing attackers into vulnerable single-direction pressure. The outer wall appeared weakened deliberately, encouraging direct assault toward a controlled breach point. Behind visible damage stood multiple structural layers designed to absorb impact and redirect movement inward. Elevated interior ledges allowed defenders to maintain visibility and controlled response without exposing themselves unnecessarily. From outside, the damaged wall seemed like opportunity rather than invitation into engineered containment. The straight corridor design funneled momentum directly toward a narrow containment chamber positioned strategically at its midpoint. Beyond the deceptive breach point, the fortress remained structurally superior, reinforcing its reputation as impenetrable engineering.
As attackers crossed the breach threshold, they unknowingly transitioned from open battlefield into engineered confinement designed to neutralize their numerical advantage. The narrowing corridor immediately disrupted formation discipline, compressing soldiers into rigid alignment that restricted defensive coordination. Momentum from rear ranks created internal pressure, forcing forward units into unstable positioning against unseen defenders ahead. Secondary side passages allowed defenders to reposition quietly without being detected from the central approach. Overhead timber barriers could be lowered precisely, sealing escape routes behind advancing attackers. With calculated timing, the rear barrier descended, eliminating retreat options and locking attackers inside containment space. Simultaneously, the forward gate sealed gradually, transforming the corridor into a controlled defensive chamber. Elevated vantage points ensured defenders maintained clear sight lines while remaining structurally protected. The design created a pressure chamber where numbers became disadvantage rather than strength. What appeared to be a simple breach revealed itself as a masterclass in spatial control and strategic architecture. Within the confined chamber, attackers discovered that numerical strength offered no advantage when individual movement became restricted by architectural compression. Defenders operated with calculated restraint, striking only when positional certainty ensured maximum control and minimal exposure. Attempts to reorganize defensive posture failed, as restricted arm space prevented effective shield coverage. The choke point geometry redirected force inward, neutralizing mass advantage while amplifying defensive efficiency. Beyond the breach, the broader defensive network remained structurally secure and fully operational. Rotational corridors allowed fresh units to replace front lines without exposing primary positions. The corridor became a containment chamber where exhaustion accumulated faster than progress. The fortress relied on depth, not height, constructing multiple defensive layers beneath apparent vulnerability. Outside forces gradually recognized that the apparent weakness concealed deliberate structural manipulation. The fortress endured not because it was indestructible, but because it was intelligently engineered to convert aggression into confinement. As silence settled across the corridor, the design revealed its purpose, converting invasion momentum into architectural containment without requiring excessive force. Subtle grooves carved into stone walls demonstrated that the system was planned long before any specific siege occurred. Repair crews restored the false weakness quickly, ensuring that the illusion could serve again if required. Layered corridors forced invaders deeper into narrowing passages where coordination dissolved and spatial advantage disappeared. The blueprint revealed that geometry, not brute strength, formed the core of the fortress's strategy. From above, the layout resembled a funnel engineered to compress advancing forces into controllable segments. Recognizing diminishing returns, attackers withdrew, understanding that repeated assaults would only repeat confinement. With attackers gone, the corridor resumed its quiet appearance, concealing the strategic depth embedded within its walls. As daylight faded, the fortress stood not as a symbol of aggression, but as an illustration of calculated defensive architecture. History remembers victories, yet it often overlooks the structural intelligence that transforms vulnerability into advantage. The strength of the fortress began not with height or intimidation, but with the precision of each stone locked firmly into place. Hidden above the corridor, reinforced timber beams ensured that gates could drop instantly without structural failure. Training within confined passages prepared defenders to operate efficiently where attackers could barely maneuver. Beyond its military design, the fortress protected daily commerce and ordinary life from disruption. The illusion of weakness concealed reinforced layers that waited silently behind the facade. Once attackers committed to the breach, their own momentum trapped them within engineered confinement. Leadership within the fortress relied on patience rather than pursuit. At dawn, the corridor returned to stillness, as if it had never served as a containment system. From a distance, the fortress appeared ordinary, yet beneath its symmetry lay carefully measured strategic depth. History records failed assaults, but true strength often resides in architecture designed to control space, timing, and human decision. If you enjoy real history that feels unreal, subscribe and like the video so you don't miss the next story. Thank you.